Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another chapter of Adventures in the Ink. I'm Scott, and joining me, as always, are Matt and Mike. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, doing well.
Doing good. Excited to talk about what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys carried on without me last time. Sorry I couldn't be there, but I know these two carried on just fine without me. So, let's get into the exciting news that Matt is so happy for, and I know a lot of us are, and that is we're here to talk about the announcement of Ravensburger's PlayHub. This is an announcement that was sent out to all of the retail hobby stores, uh, and it's right now just a upcoming announcement of things to expect of what's going to happen in the world of Lorcana going forward.
I would like to point out that like they made this post in the retail organizer Facebook group, and I don't think they actually. I not sure we actually got an email about it. I think they just posted it on Facebook.
I first saw it on Reddit.
Oh no!
So,
as soon as it got posted, it was immediately posted
yeah.
everywhere. But
I
I
saw
think
it.
that
I saw it immediately. I woke up Friday morning and I'm like, that's the first thing that popped up on
look,
my phone.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. I saw it on Reddit, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm in this Facebook group. So then I went to the Facebook page to actually look at the post.
Yeah. It seems kind of weird, not having an official press release or anything else like that. But I'm glad that the news is here, and they didn't wait to get an official press release, and they're just like,
Well, this had been such a weird news cycle for them for this. But I get it though. They have a lot of changes coming up, and based on the job posting routine for Ravensburg, I feel like they're completely reformatting the TTD department. And I think they're trying to make it its own thing. Why before I think it was a part of the board game stuff. So I feel like now they're creating a whole separate division. So
well, when you sell over 1 billion cards, they're like, maybe we should start, I don't know, retooling this for mass production or even more mass production.
if it's like 5 years, then it's probably going to be the number one moneymaker.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's exciting. So Ravensburger PlayHub, what is it a replacement for those people that might not know?
So go ahead.
So it's replacing the current tournament software, Melee.gd.
Okay. Now you talked about the post, so I'm going to put it up for our viewers to see, but you guys can't see it, but it's up. So if you want to read off or if we want to go over it in more detail.
So for those who don't know, Melee was the software that stores had to use to run any type of tournament, any type of play with Lorcana. So this is the replacement for that. This is going to be, from what it sounds like, it's going to be completely ran by Ravensburger now. So I'll just quickly summarize the first couple of paragraphs talking about the Ravensburger PlayHub. But this is going to be for store registrations, event organizers, and event managers. It's coming out in early February. They have more features to be announced soon. But in the event creator and manager as live, you'll be able to run events using Pack Rush, Core Constructed, Draft, or Sealed formats.
So
Which right there is an improvement over Melee.
yeah, but also there's a couple of things about this statement. Well, one, yeah, Packwood wasn't on Melee, so this is an improvement. But also, Packwood is a sealed format, so I think it's kind of funny how they have it as its own thing. But also this show going forward, they are really doubling down on Packwood, and also with the Valentine's Day event, which we might talk about at the end of it.
Mhm.
They're really putting it, what I like. I think Packwood is probably going to be closer to what drafted for Magic. Like we'll kind of still have draft, but I think like pack ruts are gonna be a lot more of the casual get people in weekly type game.
Oh, I never played draft casually. I always played to win. But no. I like the pack rush. I think there's a Magic equivalent that they've done over the years too. But that idea of like, hey, let's gamify our pack opening, and now you can do it and get league points in some way or do it in in a more official way. I think that's really cool. Um, yeah, I'm super excited. I've never had to use melee.gg, but Scott, do you want to give us a quick rundown of why you are excited for this?
I'm excited for it simply because Melee was a nice tool. It did its job, but as a player, Melee was fine. I was able to use Melee, record my wins, my losses, see my opponents, see what table I was going to. All that was fine on the player side. But when I started judging and using Melee and got into Melee, it wasn't that user friendly. And so I'm hoping this one is.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
Melee, I felt like I had to go online and read how to use Melee just to learn how to start using Melee.
yeah, and like one of the king too is there's a whole like Discord thread that like yeah, you go to the Discord to learn how to do all this stuff, and then but what the bigger thing is it's really hard to drop a player. So if a
Yes.
player leaves, they'll keep popping up every round after
Mm-hmm.
you already marked them as dropped.
Or the thing, like, this happened at the store championship just last week. I dropped a player from a store championship before this championship even started. Like, I dropped him a half hour before the championship started. He was erased from the system. Round one, everything went fine. Round two, he's suddenly back in the tournament.
And this is not a new issue. Like
No.
what when Mike and I went to the into the England Set Championship at another local gaming store, they had the exact same issue where they had 4 people drop,
Mm-hmm.
and
They they had to
yeah
reseat people basically.
yeah like there was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff they had to do, and it was really annoying, and it cooked them. It ended up during the first round because they had to like completely mess around with stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully the PlayHub does a lot better job and is a little bit more user friendly. That's what I'm hoping for, especially being the judge on championships. This is a program I'm going to be using a lot. Um, so I'm looking forward to it simply for the hope that they know what they're doing. It's going to be Lorcana focused. So Melee was used for a bunch of different games. So I'm hoping the PlayHub, since it's Ravensburger PlayHub, it's going to be specifically Lorcana focused. So hopefully that'll be a little bit more user friendly for the just the Lorcana players.
Yeah, so I went to the actual website to like register my email, the top email, and all the pictures on it are just of people playing Lorcana.
Yeah, I did that too. I went to the website too just to
Mm.
look at it. So,
Well,
so next up in the announcement is when are we moving to the PlayHub? The PlayHub is being announced as being available early February for people to start using. It's just for people to get used to it at this moment. They still want Melee to be used for all of Arcasia's island, though, all the way through the set championships. So it sounds like both programs are going to be running simultaneously over the next couple of months. Only Melee will be the official one for all tournaments, and the Play Hub is just for us to play around with and get used to the controls of.
yeah, I'm reading this paragraph and while you're introducing players to the new system. So I wonder what that's going to look like. Um, yeah.
So yeah, so the bigger benefit of Melee is the fact that players could sign up an event and find event on their own account and they can report matches. So I feel like that's been such a big feature that I feel like that they have to include something like this in the Play Hub.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of which, are there any features, like if you could dream up a magic feature, not Magic the Gathering, magical feature that that you'd want in an online kind of trading card game, tournament event hosting app, like as a player or as a store owner or as a judge, is there anything that you guys can think of that you're like, I really hope that they have this or introduce it?
So like I said, like I think having the fact that a player can have their own account and report stuff online. I kind of wouldn't mind if they got to the point where like going to events and stuff earned you stuff. Like, hey, we see that you have been to 10 league nights at various stores, or you've been to 5 tournaments. Here's the Akuta reward.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Um,
so a way to, well, two ways. If it's like yeah, just like a prize, or get a promo, or maybe like Ravensburger play points, right?
yeah,
And
that
then you can buy a puzzle with it.
yeah, like it's something that's like, hey, we saw that you played the 10 different game stores. Here's the reward for that. Or like, hey, you have played in 2 different countries. Here's the king for that.
Ooh, like achievements. Oh, now you're like really turning up the
Like,
gamification.
like this could be fun.
Ooh, this is actually how they introduce the quest events.
So, so that would be fun. But also, like, um, in one of the Vanguard animes, they had I think it was Vanguard G. They the whole Vanguard came like, hey, you can put on a quest for players, and if players do the quest for you, um, they get points, and they can use the point to enter into tournaments. And and some of the quests are like, help me with my deck, or play a game with me, or help find my missing cat. like just any game that people can put on them.
Can somebody deliver my groceries? Thanks.
yeah, and that was the type of game they put on there. So yes, I want a whole quest system where people can just like do a jackrabbit attack master on here and then
Ah,
points.
it's actually just like, turns into a replacement for DoorDash or something. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I think from a player perspective, my I haven't thought about this a ton. My like standard is pretty low. Like I'm glad that when we've been using Melee, I can report online and I can verify. But having something that's just slightly more user friendly, not having to like, I mean, just navigation, but like maybe I'm married to UX researcher and designer, so I have a high standard when I something's not intuitive. I kind of complain about it a lot. The um, yeah, I hope that they keep finding events, but also I don't know, not that I would ever be able to do it, but like being able to like earn points through like you're saying, Matt, except have it be towards like a constructed uh event, or like being able to like, because then they can tell what region you're in and say like, hey, you're pre-qualified to register early for a DLC in your area, and that way I don't have to compete with people flying in from Europe to play in Chicago for a DLC. Like I would like to be able to drive to a DLC without having to compete against the entire world for tickets to
That
start.
could be yeah, that could be useful too. And I know what Matic used to do is you earn prey points, and then those prey points would buy you buys in some of these big tournaments.
Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, it can definitely be a grind, the all day, multi day events, but I don't know. Part of me is like, so I'm spending my points to not play a game that I'm paying to play.
I'm playing now, so I don't have to play later. But
Yeah.
also, like that's another thing too. Is that like it would be cool. Like, hey, if you did well in the tech championship, you earned a put priority for a challenge event.
Yeah.
That get people going to the challenge event. I know the championship to help support the local game towards,
Hmm.
and then you can continue on with the competitive ladder.
Yeah. No, I think that would be great. I mean, there's definitely when you do something like that, though, there's definitely people who will try to take advantage of the system. They'll win 3 or 4 set champs and then try to sell off their extra invites or something.
Well, it depends on how they have the system set up. Like, they might not qualify, or it could be one of those things that it makes it easier to track who'd get in what prizes, and then maybe they find some way to limit them, or to tell those hey, this person always won this playmat. They
Yeah.
can win any other prize support you have at the store, but pass the playmat on to the next person.
I don't know if I like that. I like the ability of people being able to go to multiple events and win prizes because there's something to strive for there. Like I'm not going to be that person. I don't have the time, but I think it's more about just getting a seat at the table. Like, if for DLC is the biggest problem. Set champs, I don't think I've any. I mean, our store is a little bit unique because we have a smaller space, but typically we still have extra seats. A few days
Yeah.
before we're not selling out completely.
Yeah, and
Um,
also multiple stores are doing them on the same day. So at that championship, if people have a chance to go to those, while DLC seems to be a lot harder. So actually being able to track a player's account and then getting that, but this is all wishful thinking.
yeah, sure,
We
sure,
have
sure.
no idea what features and stuff they're gonna do, and
Hmm.
we could probably do a whole episode on how we would run a DLC, but
I'm just gonna turn it into a giant game of coin flipping.
no, hit that. Everyone played one round, and then we're gonna intentionally draw the rest of the day and see what happens.
Right? Yeah. No pressure.
Oh no, I'm sorry, other way around. You're gonna intentionally draw the first 8
Ah,
rounds, and then round 9 you're actually gonna play.
right. Oh man. Uh, Scott,
But,
do you have anything on the
so,
judge side that you wanted to say,
um,
or just the
the
pain
only thing
points?
I would like to see, and this is just, it's not a big deal, but it would be fun to see if when you are in the tournament, you're on your phone, it would have the countdown of how much time is left in the round.
Yeah.
Because that is one of my biggest things is, and I think it's just because of how the mat store is split in the 2 rooms. I have to go back and forth to you got 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes. You have 5 minutes left. You have 5 minutes left.
This is an awkward time to say this, but I think Miiwei does have that feature, and I just don't use it for all local events.
I've looked for it and I can't find it.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check, but I know for the DLC, they have that on the DLC, where they have the round timer on the phones.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to have your phone out on the table anyway for those events
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
but
yeah,
yeah, but you can, but after you finish, you can see how, and you go into the bathroom and stuff, you can see how much round time you have
sure.
left in the round and stuff. Um,
Okay.
Yeah.
so
And that's the other problem is constantly being told, "Hey, how much round is left? Do I have time to go do this? How much time do I got?" What like
Yeah. Oh, that
again,
reminds me.
I think it's on Miiwei, I think we just haven't used
Oh,
it.
here's one that we know is on
you're
Melee.
going to be looking at this Friday in the
Well,
store.
Matt, remember when we tried to send out messages to
Oh
people?
yeah,
Sending
yeah,
messages to all your players. That's the by far you if you're a tournament organizer, you want to have a mailing list for everyone who shows up to whatever event they're signed
they
up for.
have a button where you can type a method, and also the not a matching. I had to individually type out, or to type out the method and then copy and paste it to 30 people that we had to cancel a tournament, and no, oh no, not the cancel. The pride kit got delayed. The pride kit got delayed, and no one got that email. Like I spent a solid hour working on this to
Yeah.
give everyone a heads up that hey, I'll probably get it delayed. What was still going on with the tournament?
Yeah.
No one got that email.
It should have taken 5 minutes at most. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you're like, please have this implemented. So,
Yeah, having a way to mass email everyone in the tournament if they're like a hey, we're gonna be delayed or like hey, we need to reschedule the tournament.
mhm. Oh, sorry, I keep thinking of these, and this will be the last one, I promise. Uh, having a way to have like a player's personal like record, like if they get disqualified for whatever reason, whatever else, like I know that's a little like whatever, but like have it be able to like track and I don't know.
Yeah,
There's been things that have happened in recent events, and we won't talk about it now, but like there are things that are like, oh, that's an honest mistake disqualification, or that's a like this person was clearly trying to cheat, and we kind of don't want them to ruin the experience for the rest of our players.
I'm pretty sure that's our most viewed episode or second most viewed
Yeah,
episode when we talked about that.
yeah,
Yeah. So it would be useful for Toad to have like a. I would not allow like prayer to see that
right.
information,
Yeah,
but
it's
having Toad like change the color of the font and that like all of a sudden you see someone have like a orange thing around it, well, like hey, there have been some reports of them not behaving well at other tournaments, so keep an eye on them.
yeah, or just yeah, like if something is like this player has gotten 3 warnings already, like in a big event
Yeah.
like a DLC, you want that to be visible the next time if a different judge comes over because they may not know, or it's like, oh, well, it's on the borderline of being a warning or not. Maybe I don't know. It's like if a police officer pulls you over and tells you, oh, your headlight's out, this is a warning. It goes into the system. If the next guy, the next day you still haven't done anything about it, they're like, all right, it's not a warning anymore. This time it's going to be a
Yeah.
ticket. Anyway, hopefully
All
that
right.
won't be an issue.
So, the next paragraph in the announcement, I'm going to just briefly summarize again because there's not a lot to talk about on this paragraph. It's just basically saying that starting with the Reign of Jafar set, the Ravensburger PlayHub is going to be the only thing being used, and stores must register through the PlayHub for all events going forward. This includes getting their play support, um, and even some of future materials for Disney Lorcana sets. Also, even weekly sets all must be in the PlayHub, which most stores are using Melee already for that, so it's just carrying over into the PlayHub. Next up, though, is these are the announcements that we really want to talk about. Because these are the ones that where things get exciting for the players. The first thing mentioned is pre-release events, starting with the Reign of Jafar. Um, Lorcana is moving to a pre-release program, and I'm reading this directly from the paragraph now. Hobby retailers can register through Ravensburger PlayHub for the Reign of Jafar pre-release event that will take place 1 week prior to the full set release. The full set release includes all distribution channels. The PlayHub retailers are permitted to sell product in store, starting with their pre-release event. And there will also be promo cards in your Disney Lorcana OP kit to support a buy a box promotion. Promos only available at PlayHub retailers to incentivize purchases in your stores rather than online, and pre-release pack rush events while supplies last. So that's the first announcement. We are getting pre-release, and there's going to be special promos for those pre-release events, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is something that Matic have been doing for years. A lot of other card games do these pre-release events. And this is something that a lot of people have been asking for a while now. That because these pre-release events are really popular, promote Magic shows that host event, these tend to be the most popular event of a set is
Mm-hmm.
pre-release event.
Yeah, I would say that this is probably the most casual, like organized play, like
Yeah.
that that you can get outside of like regular league nights, obviously. But even then, you put everyone on the same playing field when you have a pre-release event, because typically it's a sealed event, and therefore, you know, everybody is only playing with the new cards. You get to do lots of fun things, and I think it's a great way to have like it bookends the set. You start with a pre-release event. You see a bunch of people who are in the area. So maybe some people can't make league all the time, and then you end that set with a set championship, and then you get to see like how people learned how to play with the set, and I don't know. To
Mhm.
me, there's
Yeah.
a lot of fun stories that can happen there.
Yeah.
What
And
go ahead. I'll do my story next.
oh, I was gonna talk about the whole pre-read Packlet king, but I'll have you do your king first.
Um, I was just gonna say what I love about pre-release events that I've been to in the past is, like you said, you start with only cards from that set. So pre-releases were great to play with all different types of cards and not just the cards that you're familiar with. Like most of us, we have our colors that we stick to, or our themes that we stick to. And so pre-releases for me, when I went to pre-release for other TCGs, is I got to break away from my mold and start playing with cards I normally would never have considered. And then it makes me stop and go, oh, maybe I should play with these cards instead, or try to do something around these cards as well as my normal cards.
Hmm.
I realized I got a funny story about a pre-release event, and like a Matic pre-release event is the only time in my life I have actually I talked to a girl and actually got her number the first day meeting her. Did not did not call her though. There was a bunch of red flags. I think one of them was her giving me her number. But
Oh, someone, okay, clip that. We're gonna put that on the short.
yeah, but like yeah, true story. But like still, it pre-release was a really fun king. And then like when I first moved to this area and I didn't really have friends, and I was getting back into Magic. Um, Pre-release event was how I started going to local game stores and actually started meeting people.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so like these are a very fun event. But also like Magic did kit that like you build like a deck at a tilt competition. Um, this one said it looked like the pre-release event are going to be Packlet, which is a very fun event, and I think really Packlet is a lot more casual friendly than
Hmm.
Teal because you're not building the deck, you're opening 2 packs, you're playing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're gonna do cooking with like actually you get like 6 packs in a pre-release kit, and then you just play with that, or just like the sort of having boxed it and then handing them out.
Hmm. I think it'd be interesting. I mean, it's totally way more expensive, but we know that the people who are going to the pre-release events and doing the buy a box promos, like you just do a buy a box sealed 2-color constructed. Like you buy a box, you have to make it out of 2 colors. You open all of your cards and you go with it. Um,
So that's another thing too. The buy a box promo is a great thing because that's one thing people complain about is they buy a box and they don't get enchanted, and it's so hard to get enchanted. And people have been acting for like a kind of middle ground between the like legendary and enchanted. And the buy a box promo is a great king for that because people who are spending money to buy a box all get in a promo, or people who
Mhm.
buy a cape. But I have bought cated and have not gotten an enchanted in that cape. Um, so but then having a full playset of the buy a box promo, makes it a little bit better for the person.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of fun things that can happen, and pre-release events are, I mean, I think it's what Lorcana really needs to take off. Like to really, especially it's a great event if you come from another TCG because you probably have a lot of the basics, but then you don't have to compete against people who are playing, have known the meta since, the first chapter and know every card in existence.
And especially with it being pack watch, you don't even have to pay attention to deck building. You just have to know how
Mhm.
to play. You open the pack and you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about pre-releases before we move on to the next announcement?
I hope that the Biobox promo are actually decent. Or read alternate artwork cooking.
They're all
Um,
errated cards. That's all Bucky's and whatever else. It's going to be the new
it's not
Hiram that only draws one.
just Bucky.
Just Bucky.
Every time they make him what?
Yeah.
Eventually, you just get Bucky with no text.
Just a
Seven.
vanilla.
You know what? No. Eventually, we get Bucky, Acot, Inkable, said Gontu. We did get Gontu, Bucky.
Yeah.
The
Hey, what if it was an 8-cost Bucky? Oh, now you got my brain turning. That was combined with Bend to Your Will, right? And then you Mickey Mouse trumpeter him out. Yeah. He's still like a 1/1 or whatever, but oh.
Alright. Well, before these two go too far down the rabbit hole, the next announcement is on the set championships. So, again, I'm reading this directly from the announcement. The set championship program will only be available through the PlayHub following Arcasia's Island. Stores can schedule one set championship per set. Starting with Arcasia's Island, set championship kits will now include one champion playmat, 8 enchanted foil promo cards for the top 8 of your event, as well as 40 non-foil promos featuring the same artwork as the enchanted card in a standard card format instead of the enchanted style. These non-foil promo cards are incentives for players to pre-register for your event while supplies last. So, major first announcement is we're down to one playmat, but we're also getting all of these extra cards to give out.
Yeah, this is kind of a mixed bag because I know some people like me preferably. I agree. A lot of the playmats, I prefer the ones without the champion on them because I think they look better. So they're kind of sad that we're not getting the second place playmat anymore. And it means the top because like the one set championship I actually made to like get to the top, and it just like it was nice because after a long day I could kind of relax because like either way I'm getting the prizes I want, so I can just have fun with this game. But now it's just like, oh, there's actually a prize on it, and like right now these playmats are worth more than the promo cards themselves.
Yeah,
So
well,
like,
I mean, they're harder to get.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it just makes the top 8 or top 4 or whatever you cut to, based on how many players you have, a lot more stressful. Like it's stressful the entire way, which I mean, whatever. But it's a competitive event. It's meant to, it's the difference between stress and excitement is just your attitude towards it. So I yeah, I think it's a little tone deaf isn't the right word because it's not like offensive, but I think they just they didn't hear what players want. Like I think they liked having the two different playmats, and they didn't necessarily want 40 non-foil promos. However, I think people will like it.
No, I've heard people actually wanting non-promo versions.
That part,
sorry,
yes.
non-foil versions of the card. So
That
I
part
think,
I think is right.
yeah, I think people wanted these. My bet yet is the reason why they're getting rid of the second player playmat is a cost measurement thing because the 40 cards are probably cheaper than the playmat.
Most definitely.
And then also the fact like every set championship, more and more stores are getting these kits, and they don't charge stores with these kits. Like we get these for free for being part of this program. The only thing we just have to buy 8 boxes to get the OP kit, which we don't pay for, and then the set championship kit again we don't pay for those, and there's no obligation to spend any money other than the initial order from the set, with a minimum of 8 boxes. Um, and so I could see that more of a cot king with like, okay, we're going to add other stuff to the kit. Would get rid of the playmat to keep the cot relative. I think this is good. Like, it's sad we're losing the second place playmat, but I think overall this is a good way to do it. That because everyone's walking away with something. And like, because that one thing when we do the prize and stuff, all that championship, we want everyone who showed up to get at least a pack of something, like to feel like because you pay these are premium events, so people are paying a little bit more than they normally do, and these are very competitive events. So like you go in full of hope, and then like you're just getting fat. Like I'm so happy. I'm playing Mike round one. Okay, well my day going down here from here.
I apologize for everyone whose hand I had to discard.
So yeah, I'm with Matt on this one. When I first read this, that was my immediate thought too. Is we're getting those 40 extra cards, so Lorcana had to eat that cost somewhere, and I
Yeah,
figured that's why we lost the second playmat. So it was a give and take. I know players enjoyed getting the person's second place playmats, but they also wanted all these extra cards. So yeah,
yeah,
something had to give for us to get it.
Well, it come down to like, hey, do we want to make one person slightly unhappy with the second place person, or do we want to make everyone happy by having a promo for everyone to go? With it,
Yeah.
like a lot of people have been wanting.
Yeah.
And
I've heard
also,
that at every championship we had is, man, I wish they had promos for everybody.
yeah, and then also like I like how the pack are gonna have 48 promo codes in total, 8 enchanted, 40 non, and you're only required to have 8 people at these events. So this is helpful for no, this is helpful. So like I have promo now to give to my judges. I have promo now
Yeah.
to give to organizers. Like so these are so that way people who are doing stuff behind the scene can still get the promo.
Yeah.
Or
Sure.
that's also that like the extra prizes like, okay, well, we only had 15 people, so everyone gets at least 2 of these promos.
Do you think that the enchanted version price will go down because there are non-enchanted versions of this
No.
promo?
No,
Yeah.
I don't
It'll,
think so.
like separate market kind of thing.
No,
Yeah.
the what's gonna go down is the normal version. That's the version that they're
Sure.
gonna.
Yeah.
That version that promised it, because the people with the money is they're gonna go to Torchan, the A foil one, and the people who don't have the money for that one but still want to gram it up, are they gonna go for the
Sure.
other one.
Okay.
But also again, because they're handing out like 40 per kit, and there's now a lot of stores running that championships. The promos are probably not going to be valuable until like 3 or 4 years after the
Yeah.
event.
So
When you
When
can't get them anymore.
buy
when
and
people
hold.
yeah, and that's really what the king with you see a lot. Well, I see this a lot with Pokemon cards, where like when promo cards first come out, they're not they're like the spike at the first day, and then they'll go down, and then after a few years, then they start to creep back up as more people are collecting and trying to get them, or like people who had the card got damaged for whatever reason.
Sure.
So but and like with Wakanda, when Wakanda first started, because the cards were really hard to get, not many stores were doing the organized play. That part of the reason why the Rock Star Sit which only has 4 in that kit, it's so popular, and how we're seeing a steady decline in all the um Tet Championship foils go down. Like I think Gall is like less than 40,
Yeah.
and those events are still going on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think so. I think what we're going to start seeing now is we're not going to see the promo code be as expensive now, but they'll probably over time kick back up.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is not official investment advice. Please talk to your financial advisor if you are looking to get into the market of buying and selling trading card game collectibles. And past performance does not indicate future performance. Something, something, something.
Look, what I know so far, the year and some change of Lorcana. Hold on to Elta.
And flounder.
Okay. Now that the legalese has been spouted out, we're going to move on. The final paragraph here is talking about weekly play. Programs for weekly constructed and pack rush play to bring back players week to week and build your community will be supported through the OP kit, as well as digital support like store specific leaderboards in the Ravensburger PlayHub.
Yeah, so this
Um,
is interesting, and I'm very curious to see how this affect the weekly event going forward.
Hoard all of your little stickers that you can now, because they're apparently all going digital.
Oh, dude, I have so many of those. But yeah, so like, are we not gonna get the posters anymore? So like, right now, for those who don't go to leagues and stuff, we get posters that we can write people names on and put little stickers like gold stars and classrooms next to people, and that's the leaderboards they have set up right now. Yeah, I might got one of the extra ones. Yeah, I keep probably need to say this. So we got 2 kits wrapped that because we were missing an extra item. I think we might have mentioned in the podcast, so I gave away part the extra stuff in that kit. But also, like, I have like a completed one in here somewhere.
Yeah, you gave me one of the completed one from the first set too.
Yeah,
I got a completed one in my living room.
yeah. So I like the idea of the going online, so players can crack the codes and stuff. Um,
I
I'm
like that it's going to be online that everybody can see it at any time. So like, Mike, you for whatever reason have had to miss some weekly game nights, but this way you're now going to be able to see what everyone did, how it went. You can, and you'd still be able to track it and still keep up to date on what's going on.
And I'm curious to see if it does up automatically, because right now, the only 2 required way to do points is by wins. So if you win, you get 2 points, and if you lose a round, it's 1 point. So I'm wondering if they're going to track those points automatically. Because there's actually a store in our area who we won't name, so like, who though weekly weeknight they don't do that. They like they'll do bonus points for like the top people, but they don't crack the wins. So I'm curious to see if that does that automatically or not.
Yeah.
But it's probably gonna be more. But I was like, starting to really enjoy the fact that I got my player trained to actually grab their own tickets and put it on the wall. So now it sounds like between rounds I'm gonna probably have to do that again for the bonus points.
Yeah. Yeah, that's if the bonus points are on there. I'm excited from a standpoint of if it is tracking your record, and people who do go play at different stores and whatever else, you should be able to develop some sort of a global ELO system off of this.
Oh my god!
Like, would that not be awesome? Like, and you could specifically, like, when you go to events, be like, okay, I'm playing some off-meta deck. Like, I want this to count or not to count for my ELO, and that way, like, I don't know how they would do that, or maybe it's like anything above regular league night counts, or I don't know.
But like, we live in a good enough area. Like, I could be going to like 5 leagues a week.
Yeah, and yeah, there's definitely some intense card slingers in our area who will travel to as many of these set champs as they want, and currently that's the only real way to kind of get a gauge of who plays a lot or what the local meta is like. But now you could say, oh look, there's a store near me, and their average ELO of the people that play is, 1,300 or something. So it's like maybe I want to swing by there a couple of weeks before DLC so I can get some better practice. That would be really cool.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see where that all end up and what features and stuff they end up implementing. My guess is though, like the first year, it probably just gonna be the version of Melee. So we're probably not gonna have the same features as Melee, and then maybe in the future we'll start getting more fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing is though, weekly constructed and pack rut. So my guess is they're gonna start putting for pack rut to be the weekly event. Because like with Magic, Friday Night Magic is either a constructed standard tournament or a draft. And a lot of people prefer the draft because it's pick 'em and play and they don't have and it's more balancing. So I'm wondering if they are gonna start putting pack rut to be that weekly king. So you come in, you spend the like $10 to $12 to buy the pack, and then you play.
I hope it's not that. I don't know. Like I like the
Well,
sentiment, but I don't know. I want to bring my constructed decks.
I'm hoping they're pushing for there'll be constructed weeknight events. Then there will also be pack rush events during the week as well, so you can choose which event you go to. Because by the way, it sounds like there's going to be stuff in the OP kits for both. Because it says programs for weekly constructed and pack rush play to bring back players week to week and build your community will be supported through the OP kit. So it sounds like there's going to be stuff for both.
I'm interpreting it the other way. I'm thinking we're going to be getting the same kit no matter what, but we can choose to do either cold constructed or pack rut. And but also like now, like they give us the kit, they give us recommendations, but like we could do draft or a field event and do organized play points.
Yeah. I think it's just maybe the incentives and being able to track, and then if it's in your system, they may even give you a nudge and be like, hey, we sent out promos. If you message this person, tell them if they come this week and do pack rush, they're eligible for a promo or something.
Yeah, I'm curious. So like I think I'm trying to decide if I want to do a second day or if I want to potentially move all league night and have it be on a weekend and have it be like, hey, we do constructed at this time and then we'll do pack rut at this time. So players have a chance to do both, or players can go one or the other.
Do a second night. Do a second night.
The biggest thing is I'm worried about putting up player baits. And also with the if we do a king like pack rut, then we need people to pay, and so like part of the reason we stopped doing draft was because they were only firing every other week. Because not everyone wanted to spend that much money every week. And so like when we first started Lorcana, I had a tournament night and I had a casual play day. Yeah, like put like multiplayer or the like whatever the be friendly and stuff. And like I condensed that to one night and like, okay, we're just gonna do the tournament night. And that's when the community actually started growing, because like it wasn't that like, oh, we got 2 people that night and then 2 people that night.
Yeah, I was gonna say the casual night when I would show up for casual, it was like most of the time it was you and me. That was it.
Sorry, young family.
Yeah, no, and that was it too, because some people can't do multiple nights for the hobby. Like I'm lucky if I can go to 2 leagues in a week.
Yeah.
Um,
I think what's nice about Pack Rush that we haven't mentioned yet is that you don't need to do 8 people playing Pack Rush at a time. Like it works well with just 2 people. And
Mhm.
so if Matt, you haven't met your card budget for the month, and someone stops by and you're working, they're like, "Hey, Matt, do you want to do a Pack Rush with me?" You'd be like, "Yeah, I can afford this," and then you just play, and then maybe that will count towards a Pack Rush league point or something.
so if I thought I could legitimately get away with it, I'm like, okay, guys, I think this is too much like gambling, but like, okay, so we're gonna do a pack what? I'm gonna play against you, you're gonna play against me, winner gets all full pack.
No, no,
I mean,
no.
people could totally do that, or you do it. I mean, this is so when I played Sealed and Magic, you would do draft, but because it was with friends, to incentivize people not to rare draft or draft only the like most expensive cards. Uh, After go through however many rounds, whoever's in first place gets first pick out of all the rares and legendaries or whatever, and then it goes down, and then um, just to incentivize you to pick and make a good deck rather than just pick out all the expensive cards.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think the Pack Rush, in my opinion, but I'm not a store owner, so Matt, maybe your opinion is more than mine. I think it's great for like a pickup kind of like it's the difference between like a pickup game of basketball or something versus like a league where you play regularly. I don't know if they want to do a weekly regular Pack Rush kind of like this is the main event. It
Yeah.
I don't know. In my opinion, that would be like it's slightly more costly and I don't know, maybe a little too. It
So
doesn't get people involved in the deck building aspect of the game.
I think that it's good for Sword, and I think having a weekly pack what event could actually be really good for Sword because draft is one of the most popular events for Magic. But the issue with Lorcana draft is because it required one more pack, it makes it more expensive than a Magic draft. But pack what required one less pack, and it's a lot more random. And it doesn't have the deck building aspect, so it's going to be a lot more casual friendly. So I think pack what is the more casual friendly version of draft. You get the benefit of being on the same playing field. You get to play with cards you don't normally play with. You get fun. You can do some fun combos you can't normally do, but
Yeah,
it's all very luck based.
I would say
Um,
it's the casual version of sealed, not draft. Like
yeah,
you know because you're not really constructing a deck at all in Pack Rush.
yeah.
So
So
anyway,
but I think Packlet is probably like a good alternative for Swords to run a weekly event that if the players are playing retail price for the pack, that is $12 depending. With it not gonna break a bank a lot of people compared to like the 15 or 20 draft cost. Um
mhm.
and so I think this is a good I'm glad they are promoting Packlet. Packlet is fun. We had a lot of fun when we played it at Toronto. Um and I definitely think Toad could do a player bait with weekly Packlet event. Um I might just have it be at a optional game people can do in League Night per point. That's probably the best way to do it. It'd probably just be like, hey, if you guys don't want to do Cold Constructed, you can opt to do Packlet.
Mhm.
And just have that be your
Your
king.
round, yeah, the points for the
Yeah.
round. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Or, I mean, if you're playing hyper aggro, you could do that and play a Pack Rush.
Uh,
All right. Overall, I'm excited. I'm excited for this news. I think this year there's going to be a lot of uh, new players coming to Lorcana. I think other interesting news that we'll talk about in a future episode will also bring new players and new strategies. Um, but overall, I think this is great. building up. It's clear that they care about the community. A lot of the comments in this post is talking about wanting to help stores build these communities,
Hmm.
bringing people back week to week. So I'm super excited. I hope to see you guys and more people out to our store in Milan, Michigan.
Yeah, I think that it's great because I know a lot of people who like don't want to keep up with the. I know like Magic and Draft. There's a lot of people that told up the event that like that's the only format they played because they didn't want to keep up with a standard deck. They didn't want to have to spend hundreds of dollars buying singles to build the deck and all that. People like no, I just want to throw up and play. Like I had people who would come to draft and then at the end of the night that immediately trade in the card they pulled.
Mm.
Like they had no interest in actually collecting. They had no interest in holding on to this stuff. They just wanted to play draft.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what I would do if I went back to playing Magic. I don't think I'd
Yeah.
want to buy in, but yeah, we'll see. I know the few times I've played Pack Rush, the rules have slightly changed, but I think that they've settled in on exactly
Yeah,
how to play.
I think on the official website now they actually have a definite rule for pack rush.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we'll put a link to that in our description for the show.
Yep, it's right underneath the quick start rules. So like it's like the third thing on the research tab now. It's above the comprehensive rules. This was November 22nd, 24 when they posted it online.
Okay.
So, final thoughts overall on the announcements. Happy, sad, weary. What's your thoughts?
I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. Like it's great news. I think we will see how I don't want to like say that this is 100% going to be better than Melee because we have no idea, but it sounds like they want to have more control and they want to be more involved in this process and the organized play, and this will allow them to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. Even if it gets off to a rocky start, the intention is there for improvement and for them to really invest in kind of your weekly community.
Yeah, I am very interested in it, and I'm just super excited. I think this is a great change. I think the fact that Ravensburger is investing in the own software, so it's a good sign of commitment. It's so that they want more control, and they all want to. It gives them a lot more control and growth, and it's all very exciting. And I feel like they're getting it to where that they have a good plan, and I'm excited to see it play out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm with Mike. I'm hoping this goes really well, that the software is great. Um, so for the most part, these announcements are just getting me hyped for Lorcana even more, seeing where Lorcana is going in the future. Um, but with Mike, I'd have to wait till I see the software, actually get to use the software before I can make a judgment as to how happy I'm going to be about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ravenburger did not have the best track record of wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we are running out of time for the episode for tonight. So the next announcement, we will just hold off until our next show because there's still time before it comes into play. But if you haven't heard, give you a little sneak peek that Ravensburger is doing something special around Valentine's Day. So stay tuned for those announcements later. But
Also
we
check
will
with also check with your local gaming store to see if they are participating in the Pack West event, which we'll go over more next time.
So, for now, then, we are going to jump directly to our card of the week, which our card of the week comes to us from set 5. It is Daisy Duck, Donald's Date. This is a 1-drop uninkable card. She is a storyborn ally, a 1 strength or willpower. Amber. She quests for 2 lore, and she has the ability of the big prize. Whenever this character quests, each opponent reveals the top card of their deck. If it's a character card, they may put it into their hand. Otherwise, they put it on the bottom of their deck. And this card is drawn by, and I'm sorry because I'm probably going to butcher these names, but Francesco Dipolito and Giuseppe Di Maio. I'm just going to go with that and let's go on. So, I know both of you use this card either currently or have used this card in the past. So, we'll start with you, Mike. What are your thoughts on Daisy Duck?
I think it's what aggro or the aggressive decks needed to actually be a threat in the game. So the fact that she's got a 1/4 stat line is great for a 1-drop because typically 1-drops will only be a 1/3, a 0/4, or a 2/2 that quest for 1. But her drawback is something that you kind of have to take a risk on. If you're playing against somebody who's playing all characters, you're giving them a free draw every turn, and you're hoping that you can beat them or like quest to 20 before they get to use any of that. One interesting thing that I always think about that I've never used is using her with some strength buffing things because her stat line is good, but she doesn't have to quest, and her ability only goes off when she quests, so she can challenge. So if you get something with support or something, that's not a bad body. It's not what I probably want to be doing with her, but it is another use case that she could be used for.
Yeah, and like I find one one willpower. I'm sorry, 4 willpower is the ideal number for Rapunzel. Because gifted with healing. Because a lot of I think the number was there was I think around the time it's Kimmy Kai, so I don't know how big of a change it had with the Android T. But about 85% of characters had strength 3 or less.
Mm-hmm.
So more than likely it's gonna take at least 2 cards to take her out. Unless they're very late in the game. So it's either good body to trigger that Rapunzel.
Yeah, I think people were afraid when this card came out. They're like, it's going to ruin it. Everybody's going to be playing 4 of this in their deck, and only Amber can win. It definitely helped Amber a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody doesn't play this on their first turn and they're playing Amber, you have to expect that they have it somewhere in their deck and they just didn't draw it, just because it's usually that powerful.
Yeah, and it's really good for like some of the mat up like any of the controlled. So any game running Ruby that running like Be Prepared, there's a good chance for the user to potentially get rid of that Be Prepared or get rid of that brawl that they're trying to top deck.
Yeah. I would say it's on like a 5-star scale. I would say it's probably 4 out of 5. There's definitely some drawbacks, and the uninkability hurts it a lot. It just really narrows your flexibility with the deck that you're making. But overall, it's not an auto include if you're playing Amber, but typically if you're playing Amber, you're on the more aggressive end, and then you would auto include it. But there are some non auto include Amber decks that this would be in.
Yeah, if you're going aggro, there's a really good include. But like if you're going anything like mid to late game, that extra card advantage of potentially giving your opponent could really hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scott, have you played with this before?
I've never played with her. I typically don't play Amber decks. Actually, I think the only Amber deck I have is my Lorcana deck.
Ah, well, she would
He's
not
not
fit.
eligible. Yeah.
Well, I'm up against Daisy a lot.
Yeah.
I, as a player, actually like playing against this card because I get all those draws. My decks usually are not draw heavy decks, so this card just really helps me. So when my opponent plays this card, I actually kind of like seeing it out on the field.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Ruby Sapphire is probably the most hurt by that card.
Yeah. Except
Maybe
they have Brawl and they have the little sea suit to deal with it. But
they
this is
can
one of the cards that makes them run those cards.
yeah, and also well, like Brawl, if you don't have it in your hand in the opening hand, and you're trying to draw it, he can potentially get rid of it.
Yeah, or she could get rid of the card that's going to get you closer to it anyway,
Yep.
right? So
Also, yeah, and also he kind of hurt Tail Kong, when you're playing against them because they could potentially stop them from drawing more songs.
mhm. Yeah, it's I don't know. I
I agree with your statement. He's a good card, but I don't think he's an auto include in every single Amber deck.
yeah. Yeah. Scott, what do you think about the artwork?
I like it. It's Daisy Duck. It's a classic drawn character. There's not much you can do to Daisy when it's just being Daisy as Daisy. Um, and I liked it because it fit really well with the storyline at the time of Shimmering Skies being the festival. So they're just out on a lovely date at the festival, and she's winning a prize. Or
And we also got
Donald's winning a prize for her.
yeah, and we got that Matching Donald card too.
Mm-hmm.
With Donald Daisy date.
Yeah, not
So I
nearly as
think,
good.
but it's still fun that I did that. Like
Yeah.
we got a couple cards in that. Like Zimmer and Kai, they had a lot of fun with that
Mhm.
because like we had a couple cards. We had a whole food fight story arc. There's a
Mhm.
whole classic, all the villains waiting in line. With that, should have been a playmat.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good idea. If you want to have a fun deck to bring to your Valentine's Day event just to play on the side, apart from the pack rush thing, make a deck that consists only of characters and their matches or their dates or romantic interests.
Actually, I actually thought about building a deck that way. Like I was gonna do like Aladdin and Jasmine, Belle and Beast.
Yep.
My Volcana deck is that Mickey and Minnie, and I threw in Pluto. That because of Pluto.
Pluto.
Yeah. So like you could do a romantic couple deck. I think Beauty and the Beast is a good one. Daisy and Donald have a you could probably just do a deck just of Daisy and Donald.
Yeah. There's quite a
You-
few. I don't know. There's probably like 7 or 8 different Daisy ducks.
And like they're all the same like most of the Daisies are emblem. And Amber. And Donald got a couple in emblem and a couple I don't know if he got any amber ones though.
Yeah, I see for Daisy Duck 6, and 3 are amber, 2 are emerald, and 1 is ruby. And Donald Duck has yeah, quite a few. 1 amber, 3 emerald,
What's his
4
amber
ruby.
one?
Because amber is the body musketeer.
Oh yeah. Oh he does have a multi-kill one.
Yep, 4 ruby, and 2 sapphire, and 3 steel.
Yeah, so I would probably if I were doing the combo, I would probably do amber and emblem, even though I don't think any one of those have anything in the 1 or 2 drop shots.
Who cares?
Yeah, you don't need it for 2 turns. Let's play
Yeah.
locate it's fine.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Final thoughts on the card?
It's a good card. I definitely think it's warp only to play that up, and you'll probably get your money's warp out of it.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun to play with. You should definitely try to play with it so you understand its weaknesses too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's 4 out of 5. It's a great card, but definite drawbacks and limits your choices in deck building.
Yeah.
Well, no miniers. That's all the time we got for this chapter of Adventures in the Ink. Don't forget to like, comment, let us know what you think. let us know how you're feeling about all of these announcements from Ravensburger for their new PlayHub, and join us next time for the next exciting chapter. And until then, adventure awaits.